Estamos começando mais um Growthcast, um podcast oficial da Growth Machine. No episódio de hoje, a gente vai bater um papo sobre como explorar estratégias de crescimento com o autor do livro Hacking Growth, Sean Ellis. Sean Ellis, thank you so much for this opportunity. I like it so much your work, your book influenced the name of my company.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's great to be on with you guys.
Thank you. Junto com a gente, Leonardo Alexandre, sócio da Growth Machine, co-host do podcast. Está preparado, Léo? Essa entrevista é sua.
Uma honra estar nesse podcast, né?
This interview is yours.
Sabia que um dia ia chegar. Chegou.
Junto com a gente, Bernardo Derronde, sócio da Growth Machine, responsável por
Especialmente
vendas.
convidado para esse podcast.
Prazer estar aqui de novo, mais um podcast. Uma honra estar aqui com o Sean Ellis.
Bom, hoje temos uma honra de conversar com o Sean Ellis, o homem que cunhou o termo Growth Hacking. Desempenhou um papel crucial no crescimento de empresas como Dropbox, Eventbrite, LogMe. Seu livro, Hacking Growth, tornou-se um guia de referência tanto para startups quanto para empresas estabelecidas. Sean Ellis, obrigado de estar conosco. Do you have a lot of cases, no?
Yeah, some good ones. My most recent one, Bounce, is actually doing very well as well. I just finished with them.
Yes, yes. You believe the growth hacking is not a methodology, it's a culture. Oh no.
Or both, maybe.
Both?
Yeah. I think the methodology builds the culture. And the culture enables the methodology. So yeah, it's both.
Because I believe a lot of people don't like the failure.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like failure, but failure is a very important your learning process.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the first step the implementation hacking growth in my company?
I think it's really to start by writing down what you think is your growth engine in your business. How does it work? The more you can kind of document how it works, the more you can focus on how can we improve it.
Yes.
So that would be the first step is, just getting agreement across the company. This is how it works. This is why customers sign up. This is how they sign up. This is why they keep coming back. And if you can agree on that, then you can start to think how can we improve each of the parts of the growth engine.
So, can you share with us some achievements from your work with companies like Dropbox and Everbright?
I believe the answer is about the beginning of the career of Sean Ellis.
Yes,
You know?
yes.
What do you develop this methodology? What do you think about the initiation, the test, the North Star metric? Do you create in your mind? What do you do?
So when I started in marketing, my first role was a marketing role.
Yeah.
I never studied marketing in school.
Never.
No, so I was in sales before.
Sales.
So I read lots of books on sales, and then I invested all of my money into an internet company in 1995. So at the very, very beginning.
You lost
No,
no?
I went and worked for the company,
Okay.
and so I was just focused on how do we make this thing successful, and it was not so important for me to do what is a marketer supposed to do, how do I do those things. It's just how do we make this company successful? How do we get people? It was a game company. It was called Uproar.com, and it was how do we get people to sign up for the games, play the games, keep playing the games, and then we generate money from advertising. And so that was my start to it. But it was we started the company in Budapest, Hungary.
Oh, great.
And so at that time, the cost of engineers in Hungary was much lower than in America, like 1/5, 1/4 the cost. So I very quickly said, how do we leverage that advantage, the advantage of very cheap engineers, to make our marketing more successful?
Great.
So the
Great.
first thing, let's invest a lot in analytics. And so there was no good analytics solutions back then, so we just built our own internally, and then let's start testing everything. And so it was very much a taking a sales mentality. So one of the benefits with sales is you think in funnels in sales.
Yes.
I know if I want to make 3 sales, I have to make 100 phone calls. I'm going to get 10 meetings, and then I'm going to get 3 sales. It's just the way that you think.
Yeah.
Where most marketers were attracted to marketing back then because marketing is creative and cool, and they like Mad Men. I don't know if you know this TV show, kind of more like, I'm going to make fun advertisements that are really cool, and like I was more wired like a salesperson, where it was numbers. I have to bring this many to the website to get this many to sign up, to get this many who become active customers. And with the analytics, I was able to very much see my return on investment. And so I think that a lot of marketers were scared of the metrics back then, because if they're measured, then now they're accountable. Now, maybe the company will learn I'm wasting a lot of money, where I wasn't scared of the metrics. I was scared of losing my money. I invested all my money in the company.
Yes.
So I just wanted to be very efficient. And I think that was the start of this methodology, was just how do we keep getting better and better using metrics. And I remember very quickly, people would say, is this advertisement better or is this advertisement better? And I would annoy my team. I would just say, let's not discuss it. Let's just test it. And let's test it. Let's test it.
The people like the one answer, not like test.
Yeah. I just always said, test it, to where my team was like annoyed with me. When you have metrics and you have testing, then naturally it starts working its way toward what growth hacking is today.
Yes. But do you believe you don't have a lot of money? It's opportunity, because do you need to test more? Do you need to learn more?
Yeah, I mean, I think
because you have a lot of company funding hazy, a lot of found, a lot of money.
Yeah, but when you have a lot of money, it's easy to waste it. And so when you don't have a lot of money, it forces you to be creative and efficient.
Yes.
And to just be careful with everything that you do. And I think that was good. We had less money than our competitors. Eventually, we raised a lot of money. This company eventually became worth $1 billion. It was top 10 website in the world in terms of how much time people spent on the website. Became the #1 game site in the world. And I ran marketing all the way through our NASDAQ listing. But again, when I started, I was not traditionally trained. Then interestingly, they promoted me. And so now I was going to be the vice president of marketing, and I never studied marketing. So I said, I need to go to school to study marketing if I will be in this position. And so I went to New York University, studied the strategic marketing management, and it made me worse. I started trying to do things like a regular marketer, and I just overthought everything, where it's really just so simple. It's how much does it cost to get a customer? How much is the customer worth? Get as many as I can get, and keep getting more efficient. And so I had to then retrain myself to just use my brain instead of the book, and on how to approach growth. I did great in the class. I got, the top A+ marks, but it hurt my marketing. Eventually, I took another marketing course at Harvard, where that one was useful because it was more of a course on marketing research and
case studies. It's what? Case studies.
Yeah, it was called Advertising and Buyer Behavior, and so it taught me a methodology to really understand the customers through surveying techniques and interviewing techniques. And the more you do that, the better tests you run. The more you understand what's happening, the more likely you're going to come up with a really good idea for a test. And but I think by the time I did that, I had already been in, we already sold the other company. I was at LogMeIn. We were already successful with LogMeIn. And so I was more confident in my approach by that point, and so then to take a marketing course was okay.
What do you think were the key factors behind the success in your use this methodology in Dropbox and the other companies?
Yes, talk about the Dropbox case because the referral program, it's a very similar game. You know, have a lot of action. You give more space. You know,
Yeah.
what do you create this idea and what's the process, the optimization this referral program?
So I think it's a good question, but I think we need to work backwards
Yes.
because so many people, they look at Dropbox referral program and they say, I want the referral program like Dropbox, and it fails.
Yes.
Yes. And so it's really like, why was the referral program successful at Dropbox, I think is important. And so there's a lot of things we did before we introduced the referral program. So the
Wow.
first was the product was amazing. It was a very good product.
I like so much Dropbox.
Yeah, and so that's why I signed up to work with Dropbox, because I saw the customers were very passionate, the early customers. I joined, there was 8 people in the company when I joined, and I joined the week that it became publicly available. It was in private beta before I joined. And so the very first thing that I did was I studied, why do customers love this product so much? And so I did every day I did a different survey.
People don't like it's referral program is not working. Do you believe?
Of course, yeah. Yeah, I mean, so there's
I'm not indication.
Yeah.
The
So-
tools I'm not used.
so again, like I want to start with why did the referral program work? So first, if you can get people to try the product, that's hard, right? To get people to just try a new product.
Yeah.
But if after they try it, they don't like it and they don't use it again, then you just wasted your time getting them to try it.
You
So-
analyze the metrics. You understand the people. It's a very good rotation. It's
Yeah.
a very good use.
there was
The first step is this.
yeah, there was something magical I could see already with Dropbox. It was growing already,
Okay.
even in private beta. So my first thing was, I don't want to break it. That was my first thing. I don't want to go in and start changing things. It's working. So I want to start by understanding, why is it working? And so then I looked at, okay, people who use it this way. So there's lots of ways to use Dropbox. I can use it as a file sharing product,
Yes.
but I can also use it just by myself
Okay.
to back up my data to the cloud, but I can also use it to synchronize my data across my devices.
You use this data. Yeah, you created this referral program.
This all before referral program was, I talked about the referral program my first week at Dropbox.
Yes.
I said we need to focus on getting our existing users to bring in new users. This is what we need to do for Dropbox. And then I didn't talk about it again for 2 months because it was too early to do the referral program. It would have been a mistake at that point. So first I studied, what are these 4 use cases? So the number one thing with technology that prevents people from using it, complexity. They're afraid of technology because, oh, it looks too hard. I don't want to use it. So what I learned is people who use Dropbox to back up their files, to share their files, to synchronize their data, to create a shared folder, if they do all those things, they love Dropbox the most. But if I tell someone it does all these things, they said that sounds way too complicated and they don't want to try it.
I remember I was nine or 10 years old when I used Dropbox for the first time.
Wow.
That's
23 years old.
I'm 24 now.
Okay, wow.
I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And, my father used it a lot, so I started using it. I loved it.
That's
It's a very easy, you know.
It is.
Yeah.
I used to spend a lot of time in my grandma's house, and I couldn't take my whole computer there, so I used Dropbox. It was amazing.
yeah, it's perfect. And so what I learned though is, yeah, if I tell them everything, they get scared away. So I have to say, how did they discover Dropbox? If they discovered Dropbox through a shared file, I don't tell them it does all this. I say Dropbox is a tool for sharing files. And then I want to convert them on that use case first. So I keep everything very simple to get them started on that use case. But if they came through the homepage, most of the time they wanted something to synchronize their files between their devices. So I converted them on that use case first. Once they converted on one use case, then I let them know about the next use case, then the next use case, then the next use case. Then when they used all of it, they absolutely loved it. So essentially what my point is, my initial focus was on new user onboarding. So you think about if I have a referral program, but everyone who comes to the referral program hits the website and it's too difficult to start using the product, my referral program will fail, right?
Yes.
So I had to get onboarding really, really good first. So we ran lots of experiments to make it very, very easy to get started with Dropbox. And once we did that, then we were in a better position to introduce the referral program. And then, then we designed it and what the one other thing to keep in mind is before we introduced the referral program, word of mouth was huge. Everyone who tried the product and loved the product was telling other people about the product. And so the referral program was fuel on a fire where most people think, oh, no one's talking about the product, so let's give them an incentive to talk about the product. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So it's about doubling down on what's working. So we had to make it very easy to get started. And then we also had to, we saw, okay, people already are sharing this. When they share a file, they introduce Dropbox. Now we can introduce an incentive. What should that incentive be? Okay, let's give them more space. And that's really what made the referral program work, was kind of all the work that we did up front to make sure that we didn't screw up the product experience. And one of the things I have to commend the CEO of Dropbox on, every company always says they want to position their company. They always want to be, okay, what business are we in? No, we're in the backup business, or we're in this business. And so if we're in the backup business, we need to add all of these features because this is what the top competitors have. And then it makes a really complicated product. Dropbox didn't care about being in a category with other people. They just said, we focused on why do people love the product, and let's just make it easy for them. And so it was, even on the homepage, there was no messaging initially. All there was a demo of how you use the product, a little kind of video of what Dropbox does. And so I think, I just think there was a number of things. So the referral program is great, but I've seen so many companies try to copy it and find themselves very disappointed and that it didn't work. And it's just important to recognize, one, when someone uses Dropbox, it's very natural to use it with other people. So that already is a natural part of it. Two, even if they're just using folder synchronization, they usually love it so much that they're talking about it. And so with those two things, then it's like, then you start to say, okay, if your friend signs up when you share a file with them, even if you didn't sign up for the referral program, we're going to give you some free space. And so that was one of
it's very low case acquisition, no?
Yeah, but then how do they know they got that free space? We would serve a notification. You just got 250 megabytes of free space because your friend signed up. Now I want to tell more friends. And so I think it's all of these pieces together is what made it work.
You don't have the one thing. You have a lot of strategy and touch point.
Yeah, and so when I work with companies today, I almost always work for 6 months or less. So I come in with a 90-day plan. And so it's 3 to 6 months. They can stop after 3 months if they want. And the most important thing is, what order do you do things in? And referral program would be maybe like month 3, not month 1. Month 1, understand who loves the product, why they love it, and make sure that when new people come in, they have the right expectations about what this product is great at. So messaging that is authentically about what the product's great at, and then make it very easy to get started with the product. And then,
first, optimize your product. Develop your
activation
customer.
is usually the first part that I'm focused on, and then eventually, if I can double my activation rate, it becomes so much easier to spend money to acquire new customers profitably. So if I'm wasting energy trying to acquire customers with a bad activation rate, I'm wasting time. So it's better to spend just a little bit, but bring enough people in, get the activation right, then start to spend some money, and then think about if I can get my existing users to bring in new users. That's when the referral program now starts to make it even easier to pay money to acquire users, and then optimize my revenue. Am I charging enough money? Am I charging too much money? Are there different ways people can pay for the product? Do I have a free version and a premium version? All of those things are, trial and error, test.
Yes.
But so the order in which you do things is, I think, probably even more important than what you do is the order in which you do them, or
Great.
I guess how you do it.
Great. Okay, but in my company, I like to use the growth hacking method. What's this step? The first step is, okay, optimization, my retention, my customer love my product. And second, I'm creating ideas, prioritize, use the sprint of experiment. What do you do?
Yeah, so just to position what you just said, growth hacking is about improvement, right?
Yes,
You can't improve what you don't understand.
perfect.
So step one, understand.
A
Understand
lot
the
of
growth
metrics.
engine. Yeah, metrics, surveys, understand. And then the next thing is, what is most broken? What is the thing that if we fix this, the whole engine works better?
Long hang fruits.
Low-hanging
Low-hanging
fruit.
fruits,
There
yes.
you go, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the leverage in the model? And usually it's activation. So let's say, okay, so the first thing I might do is say, why do only 10% of the people who sign up for our product use it in the first week? Most people, and they don't use it in the first week, they never come back and use it. So let's set an objective and say we want to move that to 20%. So now I ask the team to come up with ideas. What are some things we could try to improve this? So yeah, so ideas are, you can't run a test until you have an idea. And so, yeah, we don't want to generate 3 ideas and run 3 tests. I want to generate 100 ideas and run, 10 tests or 20 tests, but find a good way to prioritize which ones we test. And then, if you see a lot of improvement, maybe you keep spending time on that. If you see some improvement and then it starts to get harder and harder, maybe we shift our focus somewhere else.
Most companies, and especially B2B tech companies, have opened new job vacations for marketing ops, sales ops, or even revenue ops. How do you see this market movement? And based on the companies for Trinify, optimize, analyze, and look at your revenue. And how could your growth team benefit from heavy ops?
Especially the SaaS market. No, I listened to you talk about the importance of the lifetime value and CAC. No.
Yeah. So I don't spend a lot of time thinking about ops. I know it's been very popular to have sales ops roles and marketing ops roles. I think the mistake, ops essentially says operating. What are the things we do? It comes down to. And I think the mistake that most marketers have is that they're just so focused on what they do, and they feel good if they do more. And so it's do. But you don't learn when you're doing. So to me, it's like the real value is, what are we learning? What are the new things we're learning about how to accelerate growth? Yes, when you find something that works, then you want to operationalize it. But usually the ops is not that hard a part in my mind. I think the ops is when people are in that do mentality, then they want to hire a lot of operational people, and they want operational tools to just keep doing. But I think it's just much more important to learn. And then when something works, then operationalize it. And again, B2B is different, because I know B2B, you've got to you've got lead generation, and then how do you nurture and manage those leads? And that there is some operational pieces there that are important. My preference is more business to consumer, so maybe that's why I spend less
You
time thinking
prefer?
about ops. Yeah,
B2C?
there's a lot more data to work with.
Yes.
And you can do a lot more kind of product led activities. The product plays a much bigger role in the conversion and monetization. When salespeople are layered in, it's
My company now, it's only B2B companies.
Yeah.
I don't have B2B, B2C.
okay. So, but I do think you are seeing B2B companies that are adopting much more of the B2C approach.
Yes.
Because it scales more.
Yeah.
And so even the most successful B2B companies, like you look at Slack, for example, they know just selling a communications tool to other businesses doesn't really help if people don't use it. So they have a B2C approach to get people to use it. And then when people are using it, they monetize in a more of a B2B way. But so I think the more that companies are focused on how do you get value, how do companies get value from your product, and how do you ensure that they get more and more value, then any revenue you're generating is going to be sustainable revenue versus we were really good at selling, and then when it came time for renewals, they didn't renew because they weren't using. So getting them to use is more of a B2C type motion usually.
Yes, yes, yes. In your book, you talk about the North Star metric.
Yeah.
Do you like Game of Thrones? The Stark's family?
Yeah.
Learning this concept, what use this North Star metric in my company?
Yeah, so the North Star metric, just to quickly introduce it, is this idea that if you just optimize your growth on revenue or on, say, signups, it's not necessarily tied to how much value the customers get. So kind of what I
Yeah.
was just talking about. So you want a metric that captures how much value you're delivering.
It's never one metric. No, it's combining a lot of metrics. You create North Star metrics, correct?
I mean, I like it as one metric, but it's influenced by a lot of metrics.
Okay.
And so Uber, for example, their North Star metric is weekly rides. They
Oh,
know
Great.
they know in 1 week, if they generate 1 million rides, then the next week they generate 2 million rides. Then they know there's twice as much value that's happening. Drivers are getting value, riders are getting value, and of course revenue moves with it. But it would be tempting for a company like Uber to say, we're just going to focus on app installs. The more we get the Uber app everywhere, we win. But just because you have the app, if you don't use the app, there's no value and you don't
Yes,
grow.
you-
So
You
that's-
change the app.
yeah, so you want to figure out how do people get value from your business, and how do you set a metric around that value, and then you can say, okay, like weekly rides for Uber, how can you grow that? If I get my existing customers to use it every day, that's going to grow weekly rides a lot. If I can get new customers, maybe if I get for every 100 app installs I get, only 50 of them ever actually use the app, then if I can now say 60 for every 100 people who download the app are using it now, that's going to be a lot more effective. And so I can increase my activation rate. I can get a lot more downloads.
Incredible.
So all of these are different metrics that affect the North Star metric, but the North Star metric is the one you're trying to grow.
It is a very smart. What's good North Star metric one B2B company?
So Slack focuses on daily active users. Again, they know the more engaged people are, and they even monetize. I don't know, they may have changed it now that Salesforce has bought them, but they even, for a long time, you only paid for Slack seats if people used it that month. If someone stopped using Slack that month, you didn't have to pay for it. So
Perfect.
it was really an incentive for them to get people to use Slack every day. I think other B2B, Amplitude is an analytics platform, if you know
Okay.
Amplitude, and their value to customers is to help the customers learn.
LTV or no?
So it's to help customers learn.
Okay.
And so what they look at is weekly learning users is their North Star metric. Every week, how many users learn something with Amplitude?
It's a very good question.
I don't be- I
How
don't-
many users you have in the Growth Station platform? It's a
I
good
don't believe
question.
we have a true North Star metric.
Not believe it.
I don't believe we have one. I was thinking about it.
Because
It's a hard
we
decision
have
to
to
make.
be-
It is.
think about our product because we have a most one
Yeah.
this time.
But we
Yeah.
need to think about customer satisfaction and how we can tie that to our.
NPS.
Yeah, it would be NPS and.
Yeah, the
we
problem
had
with
to think
NPS
about
as
it.
a North Star metric is because you want a metric that can keep growing.
Yes, perfect.
NPS eventually flattens out. Like
Yes.
you can get perfect and then there's no more growth.
What-
But I'm helping my customers growing the revenue. No, it's
Uh-huh.
revenue.
might-
My customer, it's
Yeah,
a good.
you could say customer revenue growth. That could
Okay.
be a good North Star
These
metric
are
for
not
you.
traumatic. It's a
That-
good.
That could be, yeah. If that's how customers value your solution, then
I
being
like
able
this.
to
Yeah, I like this one too.
Where do you see the future of hacking growth, especially with AI and machine learning and
ChatGPT
other technology
Yeah.
advancements?
Change the world.
you know,
Do you
there's-
believe this?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of changes that are happening. I think that your velocity of experiments can go up a lot with AI. So, AI can create advertisements, can create web pages, can create lots of copy. I've used it to, I've used it. Give me 10 headlines for a product that does this, and then boom, it
Nope.
gives me 10, and maybe I say I only like 7 of those, but then there's 7 tests I could run, for example,
Yeah.
as just headline tests on pages. So I think it can improve your velocity of experimentation. But I think the fundamentals are where most companies are messing up right now anyway. So if they don't have good measurement systems in place, if they don't have a good test learn process in
Don't
place,
have an analytic program.
yeah, if they're not meeting on a weekly basis to see how many tests they ran and what tests were run and making decision on the next test, if they're not doing the process, AI is not going to help them.
But I believe it creating the big cliff. No, the company use data, don't use data.
Yeah.
No, company use AI, company don't use AI.
Yeah.
It's the competition strategy to have a biggest challenge,
Yeah. So I think every company needs to say what's most important for us right now. And there's going to be a lot of companies that are at the stage where they can really benefit from AI, and AI will make a big impact. But majority of companies are like, AI is not going to help them that much. You know what it'll help them? They'll save some money on content marketers because the content kind of writes itself, and now it's more of an editing job for the content marketer. You can create a lot more content. Maybe they had 10 content marketers. Now they can have one.
The content market. Finish the content market because it's a commodity. You have a lot of content because in accelerator for AI. What's the future, the content market?
I think it's as a profession it's become more of an editing, polishing profession, and not an original creation profession. But we'll see. Like if everyone can create content so easily, then
It's very easy.
maybe content. There'll be so much content out there that it's about content discovery that becomes more important, and so like the challenges change once you overcome one challenge.
Yes.
What's the next set of challenges that come up?
Yes. What do you think the most important advisor the company start use your method, use the growth hack? What do you think? One tip I'm use. I don't know. They
So
start
one
it.
one very simple tip is force people to talk in hypotheses. So
What if?
yeah, so what that means is right now people say our customers don't like to do this. Our customers do this. Our customers love this product. Our customers used to do this before they used our product. And it's a bunch of guesses, but they say it like it's a fact. They need to start to say, my hypothesis is that our customers don't like to do this. My hypothesis is that when you stop talking about opinions as facts, then you start thinking about how can we prove or disprove it with data So surveys with data. And so that simple language change can start to change the culture to be more effective.
It's perfect.
There's
I
one
like so
thing
much.
I say a lot that I love looking at that data and analyzing, and I love to say that my first thing when I'm going through data is trying to prove myself wrong. So I have a theory,
Yes,
and I do
yes,
everything
let's
I
talk about
can
this.
to prove myself wrong. Because
great,
if I
yeah.
can't, probably I'm right.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of what the kind of testing process is. But so what I do when I come into a company, I don't want to be mean, but when somebody says something, I say, but do we really know that? How do we know that? and just keep like digging, and after a while they stop kind of like, they know what I'm gonna say, and they say, my hypothesis is, and here's some supporting data. So it's a pretty strong hypothesis that I would say is almost proven. But they get smarter because they know I'm going to be very annoying and challenge them if they start presenting their opinions as facts.
Thank you so much.
Sean, it's been an incredible information conversation. So, as we close, could you share with our audience one key insight or piece of advice for our listeners who want to succeed in this field of growth hacking?
I think probably my most surprising advice to people is usually not to focus on all the customers who get away. Focus on the customers you keep, because they give you the,
it's more important.
yeah, they give you the answers to what your product is
really good
doing for them. And so if you can really understand why you keep them, then you can keep a lot more of them. And so that's usually the place that I start, is who loves us? Why do they love us? And that gives me the tools to get a lot more of the right people.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, this podcast. I love your work. I love your book. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Obrigado.
Ah,
Thank you so
very
much.
good your Portuguese.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
Pra
you so much.
conta.